we're here with Chris Piehler.
Yes.
And he's here to talk all about
his one-man show.
Yeah.
Reserve Champion. So we kind of touched on it earlier. It's called Reserve Champion, and it's going to be at the Dunrovin Ranch tonight.
Oops. Yeah, so we're doing it's a show about me growing up riding show ponies in Pennsylvania and being one of the very few boys who was doing that and all of the ridiculous things that happened to me. And I was going to bring the show here, and I got talking to Michelle, and she said, "Oh, we should do it at a ranch because horses are there.
That's the best place to do it.
Horses and ponies." And so we're doing this special show at Dunrovin where there's going to be music starting at 6, and there are going to be tapas and wine and beer, and you can go and eat and drink, and music at 6, my show at 7, and then like hang out and watch the sunset at the ranch.
Oh, that sounds great. And so they're going to live stream it, right?
And they're also, yes, they're live streaming it. They have a number of cameras there that they had, I think, originally set up so people could watch the ospreys. And they had actually...
People love that here.
It's a huge thing. I didn't know, but now I know. And
Seniors love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Love the osprey.
Yeah, everyone loves those
all
birds.
The older crowd loves it. Crazy
and so
birds.
That's exactly my demographic, because that's perfectly what I'm looking for. And so yeah, they're gonna be live streaming it. I actually have, selfishly, a couple of friends who are going to be watching it. One in New York, one in Colorado. You know, because when you're doing theater like this,
you have to.
It's hard for people aren't going to come from New York to Los Angeles just to see a play that's running for a little period of time. But so I have friends around the country who are going to watch it, and I hope that a lot of people will come up and see it. It should be a great afternoon, evening for for the whole family. I have another friend who's bringing a family of 6 to come see the show. So if people are around and looking for something fun that everybody can do together, and the show is entirely family friendly. There's no swearing. There is one slight sexual innuendo that has failed. Yeah, it's that kind of show.
And so can you tell us something very ridiculous that happened to you when you were growing up riding show ponies?
Yes, well, a lot of things did. One of my favorite things, this is actually not in the show, but so it was me and a bunch of girls, basically, because that's who rides English.
Yeah.
And their favorite thing to do was to send me into convenience stores in small towns where we were showing, because to show, the girls would wear hairnets.
Oh.
And would also wear knee-highs.
Oh.
So they would send me into a 7-Eleven in, Alpharetta, Georgia, and make me go buy hairnets and knee-highs as a little 12-year-old kid. So that was fun. And there was a ton of physical comedy in it too. I mean, when you're a kid, do either you guys ride at all?
I used to, yeah.
Okay.
I have before.
So when you're a kid and you're riding, you fall off all the time. Mm-hmm. And I fell off in so many different ways. I mean, I did the thing where the pony pulls and you did a full somersault over the neck onto the ground, landed on the feet, nailed the landing, probably 9.8.
Yeah.
6 from the rush.
Did you get an applause at least?
From myself.
Yeah, good.
No, I mean, I fell off. I was riding a little pony once, and kind of the pony went like this, and the big horse actually jumped over us.
Oh my gosh.
And then I fell off.
That's so scary.
And basically most of the stories end with, and then I fell off.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so how did you get into riding show ponies when you were younger?
Well, my mom had ridden as a kid, and we had just moved to North Carolina, and she wanted to have something for us to do, and said, "Do you want to try this?" And I remember this really clearly. The guy who ran the barn, I was sort of uncertain as a kid. I was 8, so I didn't know anything. And the guy who ran the barn said, "You want to come meet the pony?" And I said that he would ride, and I said, "Sure." And he lifted me up and put me on this pony in the stall, and I just kind of sat there, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I would like to do this for the next 10 years of my life."
Cool.
And then we just kind of got into it, and we started showing, and so we ended up, every summer we would travel around and compete at these horse shows and drive around. My parents were incredibly trusting. My brother at 16 and me at 13, got the keys to the car, and we went and drove around and competed at shows and stayed in hotel rooms. And
that sounds crazy.
It was a great thing. I think it's a great thing for kids if it's done. If you're done well, because being around horses, you have to be calm. But you also have to be strong, and that's something that not a lot of other things that kids do will teach you. You know, like karate is just like, ha, chop, chop, knock down. I'm sure I've been insulted the entire karate community.
It's fine.
But yeah, I've seen videos where like I've seen cameramen being accosted by horses. There's like 10 horses surrounding this one guy, and they're like, he just like has like feeding in his bucket, and he's just like literally just pushing the horses out of the way. These are like huge animals.
Well, this is one of the things that I talk about in the show, because in the show I ask for a pony for my birthday because I'm ridiculous, and I actually get a pony for my birthday. But what it turns out is, it's a pony that I know and am afraid of. And so one of the lines in the show is, my birthday present was a 650-pound animal that terrified me. Because I think there are kind of two types of people in the world. There are people who love horses, and there are people who have had a terrible story where they got bitten, or they fell off, or they were stampeded by a bunch of stallions. So it's an animal that people have mixed kind of relationship with. But
interesting. So what years did you do this?
This was actually in the 80s.
In the 80s.
So you get some of the, a lot of pop collars in the play.
Yep. A lot of great outfits.
Yeah, some good, oh my gosh. I had those
cool cowboy boots.
Oh my god. I had those Bugle Boy pants. So they're like super pleated out to here, and then super tapered down to the ankle, and then you roll up the cuff, and there's like a little pattern there.
Wow.
Oh.
So good. And they're coming back.
Yes.
It's exciting to me, honestly, to see some of that stuff come back.
He's also a comedian and teaching a workshop this week.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, on Saturday from 3 to 5 at the Crystal Theater, I'm doing a stand-up comedy workshop, and it's just for people who have always, maybe you're the funny one in your group, or you've always wanted to do it because it feels like something that's scary. Again, like horses, something scary that you want to kind of do, and the goal of the workshop is to, just get people on stage, see what it's like to be on stage, talk about, writing jokes, talk about how to make an entrance, talk about how to string jokes together to make a, 7 or 10 minute routine that you can do anywhere. I'm sure are there comedy clubs in Missoula?
Yeah, well, there's a comedy.
Homegrown.
Yes,
there's a monthly
it's being
comedy show.
It's just starting to get some good momentum, and they do it. It's monthly.
And they're part of the Fringe Festival.
Oh, are they?
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty funny. Yeah. And so that's workshop. That's Saturday at the Crystal.
Saturday 3 to 5 at the Crystal.
3 to 5 at the Crystal. I'm gonna come to that.
So
I've always wanted to do stand up. Always.
It's only $20, and it's just going to be fun, and that's the whole goal. It's not to. Yeah, I'm not a kind of like yelling, "You're not funny, go home."
And what's one good thing to remember when doing stand up, performing stand up? Like, what do you always try to tell yourself while you're up on the stage?
It's really about connecting.
Yeah.
Getting on stage and immediately connecting with as many people as possible. I think of it as you're going on a blind date with the entire audience.
Awesome. I like that.
You have to be, so that means you have to be, you have to stand up straight, you have to look, how you would want to look.
Yep.
You have to be, non-threatening, hopefully friendly, and you have to include everybody.
Yeah.
And that's really the way to make it work. And yes, it's good to have funny jokes, but the comedians that people love are the people that they connect with.
Right. And
awesome.
Since you're doing your one-man show, it's going to be like a monologue that you've rehearsed over and over again. So do you ever gear that towards a certain audience when you look at them? Did you try to have you don't tell one story and you tell another story to help emphasize?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to me to do this at the ranch, because some of the stuff in the show is kind of explaining some relatively basic things about horses and ponies, which those people are going to know. And some of that, actually, we did our Taste of the Fringe last night, and I did a little 10-minute section, and you can tell in the room from how people are reacting that, they know what I'm talking about here, so I don't need to explain as much, or, I can say something that may be a little more insider for people who've been around horses their whole life, because these people have been around horses their whole life. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a question of reading the audience and hopefully being able to react to what is going on in the audience. To some degree, I mean, because also, like you said, there is a script, and I do have to get from A to Z somehow, and if I go off to Q prime over here, it can be hard to get back.
Right.
Yeah.
So
cool.
One more time, when and where are you performing?
So tonight, the whole event starts at 6 p.m. at Dunrovin Ranch, and then Friday 6:30 at the Crystal Theater is Reserve Champion Alone.
Awesome.
Saturday, 3 to 5, you and I are doing the stand-up comedy workshop. And then Saturday at 8:30 is Reserve Champion again, and those are both, that's again at the Crystal Theater. So.
Awesome. Great.
And of course, you know, everybody knows this, but you gotta go and eat at Silk Road before or after. We went there yesterday, it was so good.
Was it? Ooh, I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, you gotta get back there. We had some fantastic food, so.
Awesome.
All right.
You know that's my family's restaurant.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I had no idea.
Oh, so weird. Oh, whoops.
Well, thanks for joining us, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys so much. This was super fun.